Roger Chapman played in this tournament last year, and 3 weeks later went on to win a seniors major. So it's a great incentive to us to practice and work hard between, well, certainly for me, but in the next 9 months or so.
So besides that, you're not superstitious?
I'm not superstitious at all. I know there's a lot of hard work to be done. The players these days are playing all the time. I sort of retired over 10 years ago now, and although I've been playing in some tournaments over the past sort of season, I really need to play an awful lot more and prepare. You know, it's all about being ready, and it's all about being competitive.
You know, I followed a little bit Tiger, what he went through, his comeback. So I presume I'm not really a golf player. It's a lot on concentration. How do you leave everything behind when you get on that green?
Well, actually, I think you learn. It's more experience sort of thing. The more tournaments you play, the better you do. The more you play in front of big galleries, the more prepared you are. So the thing to do is to put yourself on the leaderboard more often. Get in front of the big galleries and hopefully perform. It's all a learning experience, and the more times you do it, the easier it becomes.
Now, this is your second year here, you told me, but you said you visited Cairo before?
I've been Cairo before. I played at Academy Heights. I did a little golf day there, and it's great. You know, it's one of these things where there are so many new golfing nations coming on board that I think that people need to find places like Egypt, because the courses are good, the conditions are fantastic, you can see how nice and pretty it is, and I think the more times that we come out and play and that we're in the press, the more that the general public will think about this as a venue for golf.
I recently spent a little time in Thailand. Seems like there are
It's hot there.
It's hot. It's hot. Million golf courses.
Million golf courses and lots of people. Huge tourism, and they just love to play. But there's a huge interest in golf in Asia at the moment. There's a huge boom in it. You can see with the ladies tour and a lot even on the PGA tour. There's an awful lot of different nationalities playing there. So I think there's an interest. Not just a tourism interest, but the fact is that it's a growing sport. It gives an awful lot of people opportunities, and of course you've got to remember a lot of jobs involved in it as well.
Yeah, I presume in Asia as well, it's a lot less expensive probably to keep the golf course than it is in the Middle East.
Well, golf isn't expensive here. I don't think golf. I travel. I'm very lucky. I still get to travel around the world, and golf is an expensive business, but not necessarily everywhere. And here certainly is a great opportunity, I think, for them to present themselves. It's a great opportunity for the event and at a venue like this to present themselves to the world and say that we're here and why don't you come and try us.
Actually, maybe there are. Are there any male-female combined competitions like there are in tennis?
Not the same sort of way as tennis, but there's the European Ladies Tour that they play sort of globally. The Ladies PGA Tour in America, they play all over the place. I think golf is a growing game because of the likes of Tiger and Rory McIlroy's and Ricky Fowler's of this world. There's an interest because people love the fact that there's new young players coming into the game. They're wearing funky clothes. They're traveling the high life. I remember when I started on tour, you traveled on the back of the plane. On the back of the plane. Now these guys are all traveling in private jets, and I think people see that. And if Rory's only 21 years old. And I think if you're a 16-year-old today, a good player, and you've got ambition and drive, and you can get yourself on the practice ground, these kids are looking at it thinking, I'm only 5 years away from, having lots of money in a private plane. So it's a great incentive. Golf is a great game for everybody.
And it's actually funny they brought that up. Probably the fact that Tiger had a couple of years bad, it allowed all of these new names that I'd never heard of before. Suddenly they're out there.
But now he's come back. There's a huge interest again. The TV audiences are enormous in America. When he was leading over the weekend at the Players Championship, they had their biggest ever audience from a tournament this year. And he brings back an interest in the game. But you're absolutely right. Those 2 years, it gave the opportunity for a whole bunch of new players to shine. People took an interest, and you know, golf is growing all over the world, and it is because they can see their stars on TV all the time.
So how are you at the long range? There's a competition tomorrow night, right? Can you whack? The guy told me here they whack it 300 meters.
Oh, easily. Some of them do. The club head speed that some of these young guys can produce these days is phenomenal. Everyone is working with things called a flight scope or a TrackMan. This is a sort of laser beam that follows the flight of a golf ball, and it's all working on spin rates and their fitness and their launch angle and this and that and the other. I just like to hit a ball.
On that,
go straight. I'm happy with it. That's what I want.
On that note, lovely talking to you. Good luck here. Thank you very much.
We need plenty of luck. There's a lot of youngsters playing.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, guys.
The 4th annual professional amateur golf competition in Egypt, the biggest in the Middle East and North Africa, almost 300,000 Egyptian pounds for prize money. To make golf one of the fastest growing sports in the world. You are watching Bella Egypt. "15 years here on Nile Television, and they're still trying to get me in the studio. Why would someone go to a studio when you have this every day? All right, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Our email and address, bellaegyptnowtv, one word, @gmail.com. If you have comments to make on the show, new ideas, or just stories you want to tell us about your trip here in Egypt, or your upcoming future wannabe wish list, bucket list. Have you noticed everybody's saying bucket list now? It's like one of those trendy words to say after the movie came out with Jack Nicholson. All right. Oh yeah, before we go into the next section, kind of a funny story, isn't it? Everybody has a funny story on a golf course. The few times that I've shot with my director, Saeed, last time there was a guy called Will, and he said, yeah, he's the professional. I don't know how to play. Boom! From the putting green, hole in one. To chip, I have no idea how to chip. Boom! Hits the post, hole in one. I remember when I was in Florida with friends, we couldn't hit the ball, we're whacking it, and the guy beside me, the only thing he did the whole time is hit a little bird. So it's kind of funny. You think you're going to win, and then he hits the water, bounces off, goes in the green. I mean, it's not even fair to say that's a hole in one. I mean, that is an act of something above. All right, let's continue here on Bella Egypt. This is the competition, the big one, the biggest Pro-Am competition in the Middle East or Africa. Let's continue. Continuing on with the competition. How you doing, buddy?
Not so bad, thank you. How are you, Ashley?
Clinton and Ashley back together again.
No, it's been what? Nearly a year now.
Yeah, and my golf game sucks just like it did before.
You don't practice, do you?
I just get so little chance, in Dahab. We don't have a lot of golf courses in Dahab. So someone did tell me that there is a new golf course on the coast down there, Ronan, I was speaking to earlier on.
There's a new one opening up in Aqaba in Jordan, which isn't too far away from here.
Oh, that could have been the one. I wasn't sure if it was in Egypt or... He said it wasn't far from Sharm el-Sheikh anyway.
Yeah.
Before we continue with talking about the organization of this big event, let's take a quick look at how the professionals teach the amateurs to play golf.
this is the 4th year of hosting, so pretty much the organisation started straight after we finished last year's. So it's pretty much a year project, obviously following up from last year, keeping in touch with players, letting them know the results, everything from last year, and then deciding on, first of all, the date of this year, which we actually had a couple of issues with. We found out that Shamnassine, the Easter feast over here in Egypt, we believed it was the beginning of April. So normally we host the Pro-Am 2 weeks afterwards, but then we found out the date was the beginning of May. So then we had to change quickly.
Is this one of your fans up there? It's like, shut up, you.
Yeah,
Hey, be quiet.
He's got the best seat in there.
I'm working here.
So yeah, it's pretty much a year's job, and it's just getting all the players, and then obviously the media, the sponsors, the organisation. But the organisation and the operations, it's pretty much a copy and paste job from last year.
Well, I guess, I mean, now we start to talk about it, because different events already have their time slot scheduled. So, of course, you've got to fit in space that people can physically get themselves here.
This is the other thing, like the professionals we've attracted this year are a very high caliber. They all play like 1st or 2nd tier European tour. So we have to try and get the event during a week where they don't have an event. If they have an event which is $250,000 worth in price.
This is 250,000 Egyptian. Who needs the dollars?
Well,
they do.
Well, yeah. Okay. So they choose that instead of this, which is logic for them. You know, it's a career. So we're lucky this week we've managed to fit in where they have a week off. So we've got a lot of the guys like Ronan Rafferty, Paul Broadhurst, and then I'm sure you've had interviews with the other chaps, Joe Smoothy, John Chamberlain, Stephen McAllister, Glenn Ralph, Nick Job. A lot of players who are playing on the tour full time, and they've got a week off, so what better way to spend it than a week here in the sun practicing and playing against a good field.
The other guy, Ahmed, he was explaining to me, this may be of interest to people, I don't think, unless you're a golf player, how does someone become 3 under par, 1 under par, you know, how does someone get to that level that they can go from amateur to pro? How do they earn that right?
So you obviously have a standard of playing, so the amateur level you have a handicap.
So the handicap is the word I'm looking for.
So the handicap is how many away from the par of the golf course that you are. The par is the number of shots that you're supposed to do it in. So the handicap gradually goes down and down the better they play.
And how long do you have to sustain that to say that is my handicap? Or is it just over your career?
So you start out, you play 3 rounds of golf, you hand your scorecards into your golf manager, he gives you a handicap, and then you have to play, I think it's between 5 and 10 rounds a year to actually keep your handicap going. And
no fiddling going on?
No, of course not, no.
No fiddling in golf, that's cycling.
No, and that's actually one of the things we do have to watch out with this competition, because it is a Pro-Am. We have 3 amateurs with handicaps, so every player on check-in, they have to come, give a handicap certificate signed by their golf manager to ensure to us that their handicap is official.
Where does the half hour go to, huh? All gone. Bella, Egypt. Over one more time. I hope you wrote down our address and email earlier on for the letters, the questions, the funny events, things you want to know about the future. As far as the competition here, congratulations to all the people who won. In fact, everybody won in the sunshine here. And hopefully we'll see everybody back next year. You all have a great week. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Now I need a rest.